the testimony. While the ERTC's intent to support these struggling businesses during what was a challenging time is commendable, the lack of sufficient guidance and regular updates from the IRS has led to uncertainty and vulnerability for small businesses to be exploited by fraudsters and predatory practices of scammers, and I know that you touched on this. Lack of clarity in the IRS guidance has led to confusion and left many small businesses in the dark. They're unsure of how to properly assess their eligibility or navigate the complexities of claiming the credit. Lack of communication and status updates from the IRS adds another layer of uncertainty for small businesses. Businesses are relying on outdated information, leading to inadvertent errors in their claims or even missed opportunities to access the support that they desperately need. The absence of a clear procedure to correct unintentionally inaccurate claims exacerbates the situation. Small business owners who make genuine mistakes in their ERTC claims face the risk of penalties and additional burdensome paperwork, and this discourages some of our entrepreneurs from even attempting to claim the credit, fearful of potential repercussions of unintended errors. Regrettably, the combination of insufficient guidance, lack of updates, and unclear procedures has created an environment ripe for fraudsters to exploit these vulnerable small businesses. And as a legitimate business struggles to understand the intricacies of the credit, bad actors may take advantage of the confusion, leading to false claims, misuse of funds, and fraudulent activities. This not only diverts critical resources away from those who genuinely need them, but also undermines the integrity of the ERTC program as a whole. In light of these changes, the IRS must take immediate action to address these issues, providing clearer, more comprehensive guidance on ERTC eligibility and claim procedures, as well as regular updates are imperative to ensure that small businesses can access the support that they deserve and that they are warned that there are these fraudsters out there. Equally as important is the establishment of a transparent and efficient process for correcting unintentionally inaccurate claims. The ERTC's effectiveness in aiding businesses that struggled through the pandemic depends on the IRS's commitment to providing sufficient guidance and regular updates. Without addressing these issues promptly, we risk perpetuating uncertainty and leaving these small businesses vulnerable to the exploitation by fraudsters. So I'll start with Mr. Gray. I'm extremely concerned about the small businesses in my district that were misadvised by aggressive ERC promoters and improperly claimed the credit. It seems like those businesses may get hit with a double financial whammy. The business is going to have to pay the IRS back on the improper claims, and then second, those businesses may not be able to recoup the fee, which was probably substantial, that they paid to the ERC promoter. Can professional tax practitioners like CPAs help businesses now that unintentionally claimed an unsubstantiated ERC, or is it too late? What would you advise?
Well, first thing is what I just referred to a couple of minutes ago. This notice from the Office of Professional Responsibility, I have to comply with that. The fraudster doesn't have to. Mm-hmm. And in that statement, it says that if I assist in income, employment, or excise tax, in order to assist, I have to be knowledgeable of the ERC. And ERC is a payroll question. And a lot of practitioners, especially small practitioners, may not do payroll tax, so they're not aware of the rules, but yet they're coming forward and saying, I need help with the 1040 tax return. Based on that rule, if I follow the guidance, my answer is I can't help you. And that's a sad day, because I ethically, through my standards, through AICPA, my standards are that I'm to help get people right. So if somebody comes, because what is it, Roger? And it says if we do that, we might be perpetuating the claim if we're helping to put money back in the Treasury. Mm-hmm. The other thing would be to be able to get the guidance. In April, I think it was, that they had within the IRS and audit and CI, they were going to get a team together and do something. Roger, have you heard back from that?
Not yet.
Me neither. So back to how many months? We continuously ask at the table, let us include us not in the communication out, but we'll work with you and working on the project to help solve the problem systemically. So I think letting practitioner groups, associations, payroll, income tax, all the organizations, we've offered to help. Please take our offer, because then we can work to answer your question much better.
Yeah. Just one more question, if the chairman allows. Now that he's busy, let me ask. The IRS is going to find clear instances of fraud, but also probably going to find cases where a well-intentioned business or nonprofit was misled by an ERC credit mill into taking a larger credit than they were eligible for, or cases where the ERC mill has produced large volumes through baseless report on why a small business or nonprofit qualified for the ERC. How at all do you anticipate the IRS will distinguish these different cases? I mean, do you think the IRS has the resources to be able to distinguish between clear cases of fraud and cases that aren't so clear? I guess your last answer kind of said that they couldn't get you this information. It's been months. I imagine that will be
Roger, I'll follow you.
They're not going to be perfect in it, because it's one of these facts and circumstances cases. They do that somewhat routinely in terms of allowing deductions, charging fraud versus things, but it's not going to be perfect. I think what we have to ensure is that if a taxpayer, a small business owner, believes that they have been found improperly, that they have the proper process for appealing that, because it's going to be left up to a facts and circumstance and an individual case.
And that's why there has to be a due process, so that, because if that taxpayer on the first contact has no representation, like myself, then they should be able to have, hey, can we appeal this, or can I talk to a manager? That process is in place on examination. But again, I think the sooner there is inclusion of practitioner groups more involved in setting up the way to go. See, if we could go back 3.5 years, normally you would have seen an ERC implementation team. And the reason why that didn't happen, because the pandemic was going on, they were working at home, so it wasn't like they had all the resources. But it's never too late, as the chairman said, to snip it, and we're here to work with the IRS to snip it.
Thank you, Ms. Malliotakis. Oh, and as being someone who's about to run to the airplane,
Don't get in front